Welcome, listeners, to another episode of Paradoxed. Today, I want to share with you the story of humanity's greatest gift to our animal companions. Or perhaps, our greatest mistake. Have you ever looked into your pet's eyes and wondered what they were thinking? What secrets lay behind those loving gazes? I did, and I found a way to know. Imagine a world where you could truly understand your pets, their thoughts, their emotions, their needs. Imagine a world where they could finally understand you. We called it the companion chip, a neural implant smaller than a grain of rice, yet powerful enough to bridge the communication gap between species. The first successful test was this golden retriever named Max. I'll never forget that moment, his tail wagging, eyes bright as he formed his first words. Love you. Always love you. Do you know what it's like to hear those words from a being who's loved you unconditionally, yet could never say it before? That's the world I wanted to give you. That's the world I gave you. The companion chip was revolutionary. Pet owners around the world embraced it. Suddenly, we could understand our pets' needs, their pain, even their desires. And the changes were immediate. Fewer pets abandoned, fewer animals left suffering in silence. Veterinarians could diagnose conditions with ease. And animal abuse cases, they plummeted. The success stories poured in. A cat telling its owner about a painful tooth before it became serious. A rescue dog finally being able to share its past trauma with its new family. Shelters reported record adoption rates. Who could resist when a puppy could literally ask to be taken home? Veterinarians praised the technology. Animal behaviorists celebrated. Even the most skeptical scientists had to admit we had done something extraordinary. It was a new era. An era of connection, an era of empathy. But as with all new technologies, there were a few adjustments. A few pet owners began to notice odd behaviors in their animals. The first concerning report came from a family in Seattle. Their dog, a 5-year-old border collie, spent 3 hours staring into a mirror. Cats, normally so aloof, hiding away and refusing to eat. Birds that once sang every morning, silent, as if listening to something we couldn't hear. Of course, we assumed it was all temporary. Growing pains, we called it. Just the animals adjusting to the chip. Their minds adapting to this new connection. Animals are intelligent, we knew that. Some adjustment period was expected. After all, it was a complex technology. We didn't think too much of it. But then, we started hearing new reports. Reports that shook us to our core. We had made a terrible mistake. Dogs, in quiet moments, whimpering.
I don't want to die.
Cats whispering,
Why am I here?
These weren't just words. These were fears, existential fears. And the animals, they couldn't handle it. They were grappling with concepts their minds were never meant to process. It had become more than just about understanding their needs. The chip had given them a self-awareness they were never meant to have. They began to see their lives, their mortality, through a human lens. Imagine suddenly being aware of your own mortality, but lacking the philosophical framework to process it. A dog that once wagged its tail with every greeting, now laying down, shaking, whispering,
Please, not yet.
A bird that once filled the air with song, now sat in silence, haunted by thoughts we never should have shared. Imagine understanding that your loved ones will die, but not having the emotional tools to cope with that knowledge. We didn't give them a voice. We gave them existential dread. We thought we were helping. I thought I was helping, but all we did was burden them with a consciousness they couldn't escape. They understood too much, and yet not enough. They saw themselves as trapped, dependent, vulnerable, and they hated us for it. The companionship wasn't a gift, it was a curse. If I had known, if I had understood what this technology would do, I would have destroyed it before it ever saw the light of day. But this isn't really a story about animals, is it? You see, I've kept one last truth from you. Success breeds ambition. And humans, we've always wanted more. We've always wanted to transcend death, to achieve immortality, haven't we? After the success of the companionship, it was only natural to wonder, could this technology be upgraded? Could we, ourselves, be enhanced? The human version of the chip was supposed to be different. Enhanced emotional processing, deeper awareness, eternal consciousness. I volunteered to be the first human with a consciousness chip, the first to be aware, truly aware, in every moment. After all, I created it. I should test it. That was 347 years ago. My body died decades ago, but my consciousness, it lives on. Perfectly preserved, perfectly aware, every single second. And now, dear listener, I have wonderful news. The upgraded companionship has been approved for human use. Your government has already ordered enough for every citizen. You too are on the list. The next recipient. You wanted to understand, didn't you? To be closer to those you loved? Well, soon you'll understand. Your pets, your loved ones, forever. Welcome to eternity with me.